Aviation conference here in San Francisco, and there's so many incredible people here. We have with us John Eberhardt from ATA. So great to see you, John.
Hey, Dawn, nice to see you again.
Yeah, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm the CTO at ATA. We're best known for supporting the Virginia Flight Information Exchange and focusing on making data available as a public service.
And fun fact, everybody, John was actually on the Don Jones podcast last, November, I think it was?
Yep.
Yeah, and we have a replay on Clubhouse too. So if you missed that, absolutely check it out. And so, John, what are you seeing here? What's exciting you about this conference?
So the first thing is the people who are here. It's a really, really exciting group of people at this conference. A lot of thought leadership. And what I think is really exciting is people are actually talking about what do we have to do to get ready.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that going on. I'm learning so much about things like noise and even visual pollution and batteries. I mean, you name it, they're talking about it here. So it's really exciting.
I'm also really happy to see the acknowledgement of local stakeholder equities, right, and how you think about community integration and managing that, because it does look very, very different from conventional, traditional aviation. And so we have to be prepared for that. We have to think about it. And it's related to those questions of battery life, vehicle performance, safety, et cetera.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, John, I know you have a bunch of meetings to go to. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dawn.
All right. Awesome to see you again.
Yep. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Internet.
All right. Come on. Let's go, Bob. We've got an expert here, former airman with an illustrious career who is now leading the charge in the state of Kansas. So please introduce yourself.
Hello, Don. This is Bob Brock. I'm the Director of Aviation for the state of Kansas.
So, Bob, you're here. Why?
We are here because the new industry coming down the pipe is advanced air mobility, and the state of Kansas does every other form of general aviation in a huge way. So we're collaborating with some of the thought leaders in the country to see if we can't make a difference in what policy is supposed to look like.
Well, and Kansas, you all have been on the forefront, right, with the FAA's integration pilot program for the small drones, the Beyond program. Is that right?
We've been very fortunate, quite honestly, Don. We've done a ton of things with the FAA, with this IPP, the Beyond program, the Advanced Air Advisory Committee, and that has really brought industry and universities and the whole ecosystem for aviation all into one room, and being able to do that just really makes a big difference.
Well, absolutely. So tell me the one thing that you've seen here that you're the most excited about.
I think the personal investment of the people that have shown up, and truly, we kind of think that 90% of life is showing up, and so people like Dawn are here that are facilitating the conversations, and we're having hard conversations. I'm excited about that. It's not just a 101.
Yeah.
And, so that's a fun time.
Tony, come on down. All right. So we're going to have Tony Drummond next, Prestige Air Group and Global Aero Management Group. But you were also, Bob, yesterday in the Community Air Mobility Initiative, CAMI's AAM 101. Tell us what you thought about that program.
It was exceptional. It was good enough that at that moment, halfway through the conference, the workshop, I texted my team and said, join CAMI right this minute, and let's get involved and see how we can support the overall cohort to make good things happen. So honestly, it was very, very valuable, and I recommend it to anybody who else wants to do it. And speaking of another airman,
all right,
here is Robin.
Well, come on around. All
Robin
right,
and I served together flying drones.
Oh my gosh, what a small world. Well, thanks so much, Bob.
Thanks,
great to see you.
Former Air Force.
I am. Come on over. So here we've got Robin Grace coming to us live. So from Massachusetts DOT. So nice to meet you, Robin.
Nice to meet you, Dawn.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I am the Senior Program Manager for the Mascot drone program. And we work with various agencies across the state, but specifically with Highway, the MBTA, who runs our commuter and subway service, as well as aeronautics. And really, we're trying to find how we can help these organizations solve some of their problems. So everything from asset inspection to rail inspection, vegetation management, looking at approach paths for our airports. And of course, how can we leverage some of those capabilities and start thinking about AAM as well. because we have some traffic around the Boston area.
I know. I was just actually on vacation in New Hampshire and going back to the Logan Airport. And each way, honestly, out to New Hampshire and back was crazy. Tom, stick around. We want you on next. So anyway, so what are you seeing here that's making you really excited at this conference?
I think getting all these really great thought leaders in so many different facets. So we have government here, we have industry here, we have city planners, and getting everybody to kind of talk and get to know each other and share best practices.
Yes.
I don't want to say if this is the best conference I've ever been to, but it really has been impressive, just the group that's come together here. And being able to network and find out a little bit about what everybody else has been doing. It's really been beneficial.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah,
Great to meet you.
Great to meet you too.
Yeah. So, all right, next up we have Tom Sawyer. So if you don't know this guy, you need to. And if you don't know about Grand Forks, North Dakota, and the incredible things happening there, including a little thing called Grand Sky, this is the guy that made it happen and who's leading the charge. So, Tom, welcome to the live stream.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Grand Sky, you're very involved in drones, the large drones like Northrop Grumman, General Atomics, co-located with Grand Forks Air Force Base. What's your vision for the future of AAM? Like, why are you here at this conference?
I'm here because as we start to look at the evolution of the UAS industry, it's going to start moving towards people movement and cargo movement as a way to either meet last mile challenges or to meet other kind of critical needs, whether it's air ambulance or medical delivery. And as we start to look at that, we have identified a gap. I'm here at this conference, and it's really reinforced this gap that we see in this particular market space on the direct testing on how this is going to work. How do we really develop and how do we really show that these aircraft can work in an airport or vertiport, as we're talking about here, environment? And how does that mean? What is that going to mean for us with respect to moving people to aircraft? How are we going to manage that safely? How are we going to manage the security? How are we going to manage multiple fuel sources from avgas to electricity to probably even hydrogen fuel cell eventually?
Yeah.
And how do we do all of that in an environment where people are going to be staying and sitting and waiting for their flight to happen? So we believe that Grand Sky is perfectly positioned because we created the amenities, the utilities, the capability to be able to demonstrate that kind of test work and really evolve the vertiport itself, not the aircraft, the vertiport itself to a higher technology readiness level.
Well, really excited about that, Tom. And very excited, by the way, everybody, to head out to North Dakota early October, UAS Summit and Expo. If you don't have it on your calendar, you need to put it down. We're going to be doing a panel together actually about some of the weather challenges and the incredible collaboration that Tom and Grand Sky has with True Weather, and also Meteomatics and their Meteo drone, the weather drone. The Flying Weather Lab. So really great stuff. So thanks so much for taking a couple minutes. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, we're going to grab Anna Dietrich next. Here she comes. I'm like yelling at people. You can tell it's the break right now. It's a little bit crazy and loud, but we love it that way. So here comes Anna with her mug of coffee. If you don't know Anna is one of the co-founders of CAMI, the Community Air Mobility Initiative that ran that incredible event, AAM 101 yesterday. So nice to see you, Anna.
Good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, if you don't know her, you need to be following her. So when you think about engineering, you think about the standards and ASTM and RTC, all the different standards bodies. Like this lady right here, she's making that happen. She's helping forge these standards that are going to really forge the future. So tell us like what you're seeing here, Anna. Like what is making you excited about what you're seeing here?
Yeah, so this is great. This is day 2 for me. Yesterday we had CAMI's AAM 101 session, which John presented at. Did a fantastic job. And that was really an opportunity for us to deep dive into the fundamentals of this emerging industry with the lens of what do you need to know to integrate this stuff into a community.
Yeah.
As a state or local decision maker, as a transportation planner, what is this? I mean, aviation, we tend to have alphabet soup everywhere. So getting some of that foundational information out there was really our goal for yesterday. And then today, hopefully the folks that were there yesterday can take that foundational information and really jump into these conversations with even more context and even more background and start to explore how do we set ourselves up for sort of the maximum long-term benefit for the maximum number of people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything we were just talking about earlier, like from noise to weather challenges to visual, like clutter, shall we say, to batteries. What's the one thing as you look around or you're listening now that you feel like is the kind of the largest challenge for the AAM industry?
Yeah, I usually have a hard time picking one thing. I think it's not getting a boulder to the top of the mountain; it's getting 30 marbles there at the same time.
Yeah,
right.
That's a good
so
point.
It's the coordination. It's pulling all these pieces together. Tomorrow, I'll be leading a conversation around earning public trust, and I think that we have, there has to be this balance. There has to be the clear public benefit. There has to be public trust. There has to be clear safety. There has to be minimization of all the adverse impacts that you're talking about. So, I mean, even if it's completely silent and completely invisible, if it doesn't do you any good, why would you want it, right? If there's no, it has to be this trade-off. I live in California here, and we have wildfire season, and people put up with incredibly noisy stuff if it's going to help with firefighting, right? So,
true.
In fact, you're like cheering the tanker aircraft. It's like buzzing over your property.
Yeah, you're like, yay, help is on the way.
Exactly. So you have to have that balance of clear public benefit. You have to earn the public trust through the safety, through the rigor that we see the industry doing. I mean, it's not like this is news to anybody.
Right.
But we have to have that balance and that whole ecosystem come together. And I think events like this, with that focus on integration and that focus on all of these pieces. I was just in a session that was focused specifically on aircraft safety, but that's one piece here. We're not doing this technical deep dive. We're looking at how do these things all fit together. And it's a complex problem. And I think that's really going to be essential for us to make this succeed.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for everything you're doing for the industry. Really appreciate you, Anna.
Collaborative effort all around.
Yeah, and by the way, like I've known about her forever as the first time I met her in human form. So once again, always excited to
so much better to be in person.
Meet people in human form. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks,
all right,
talk
soon. All right, here she comes, the lady of the hour, Miss Toni Drummond from Global Aero Management Group and Prestige Air Group, both. When you think about, advanced air mobility and the fact that general aviation has been around just, for a little while, that experience and knowledge that Toni brings to the table is really unique. And so, Toni, welcome.
Thank you.
And so what are you seeing here that's really exciting you?
There's a lot of, first of all, the momentum's great. The energy is absolutely amazing. And I feel like we are finally at that turning point. Everything that was going on with COVID and everything like that, so we're there. What's really exciting to me is that we're collaborating. Everyone's collaborating for the first time. We have all these different pieces. We have weather. I'm working on mobile vertiports, so I'm working on that. We have somebody that's working on energy. We have somebody that's working on airspace. So everyone's coming together. We're collaborating with our different plans, and I think we're going to be able to push this faster than slower.
Yeah, I mean, I think collaboration is the word of the day, if I was going to pick a word. And so what's the coolest thing you've learned so far?
Oh my gosh. I'm really excited by the infrastructure, the push for infrastructure. I think what's happening right now is there's been a lot of talk about what we think we can do, and I think there's a lot of people that are really pushing that envelope so we can start doing what we say we're going to be doing here. So I feel that there's the city planners that are here. They have so much invested in how they're going to create a socioeconomic, really like a nutshell to surround their city. So it's been really interesting, and there's a ton of different views. It's not that this is very, very, very dynamic. One city feels this way, another city feels that way. So I'm just blown away by it. I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah, it's been. What I found really interesting was the fact that the term I kept hearing repeated yesterday was, this is not competition, this is complementary.
That's right.
The idea that for advanced air mobility, urban air mobility, having these nodes attached to existing transportation hubs, making kind of that micro transportation, kind of implementing that through advanced air mobility, I think is really key.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of new players to the game. People that I didn't even see at AUVSI, so they haven't.
We're on a panel tomorrow.
they haven't even come, they haven't been around, and now we're starting to meet these new players for the first time, these OEMs. A lot of people here are sharing a lot of great information.
Absolutely. I missed by the way, I missed the opening panel this morning. I think some of you know, I was at Skydio doing, with Anna Wiesenthal-Birch doing the Donna Drones live from the Skydio headquarters, which is only about 15 minutes from the San Francisco airport. But I missed Blade, right? So Blade, when you think about advanced air mobility, and regional mobility, they've been doing that.
Yes.
And this idea that take the lessons learned, don't literally reinvent the wheel or reinvent the rotor.
Yeah, Melissa Tomke from Blade spoke at the opening session this morning, and I'll tell you what, she made so much sense that she was really explaining their model, how it's already working, and how we can all kind of emulate what they're doing and help the ecosystems in our area keep up instead of worrying about the future. She basically said, here's what we're doing now. I agree with that model, especially coming from general aviation. We're flying people, whether we're flying them in planes, eVTOLs, whatever. Flying people is flying people. So I like the way that people's thought process is starting to shift slightly, so we can start to really get off the ground, no pun intended,
Yep.
Get things moving.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Tony.
Thanks so
Always
much.
great to have you. I'm going to grab Adam. I don't know if Abby Smith can come on here, if the FAA will let her, but let's. So the FAA is here, in as full of force as they can, given kind of the current COVID situation. We thought we'd be out of this by now, but they had to skinny down their crew. But we have Abby Smith, who is the deputy at the UAS integration office, and here she comes. I'm so excited. So Abby was on the Donna Garone's podcast, for those that recall, back in March for our Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Month. And you're here now. So thanks so much for joining us.
Oh my gosh, Don, thanks for snagging me as I was walking by.
I know. I'm snagging everybody. So, but it's so great to have the FAA and have you in particular. So, Abby, FAA is here. Advanced Air Mobility. Tell us why you guys are here.
Oh gosh, Don, I mean, this is like the renaissance of aviation. It's so exciting with all the possibilities and the way that we can really make the airspace and aviation accessible to the whole country, and not just major cities or people that have deep pockets necessarily, but really making this ubiquitous in ways that we've never conceived of using the airspace. Kind of like where we're seeing this incredible patch of innovation in the land of drones.
Yep.
Now let's throw people in it. And let's throw big cargo in it. I mean, it's so exciting.
Yeah, it is.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Because, hey, we're the regulator.
Well, you are.
We're the operator of the airspace, so we really need to have a presence in this, and really hear and listen deeply to what people's needs are, what people's use cases are. Thinking about you as an attorney, thinking about what are the legal things and what are the land use, and so because it's going to take all of us really collectively in this space.
Yeah.
We know, because we've had 100+ years of traditional aviation, how the system works, and now we're challenging the system.
Yeah.
And so it's we've got to dare I say, radically collaborate with each other.
I love that. Radically collaborate. I feel like this morning when I interviewed Skydio, there was a radical collaboration term too. So I don't know if this is a new thing, but I love it. It's so key.
Okay, so that's like a super organic kind of symbiotic thing.
There you go.
Here.
It's just like
yeah, baby.
karma or something. You talked yesterday at the AAM 101 event about a vertiport standard that's coming out. It's in the works, right?
Yep.
And there was an engineering brief, I think, as well, that you all have published recently. It's a draft. Yeah. So
March 2nd, we published the Office of Airports. I didn't. I didn't work in it, but we, proverbially the FAA, published an engineering draft brief on March 2nd, and then on March 29th, we held an industry day to really get feedback from people that are going to be using the vertiports, and then we've had a long comment period. We're just finished reconciling those comments and expect to have our engineering brief out at the end of the summer. And then that gives us time to really have some burn-in period with vertiports, learn more, see kind of where we're landing on the different energies that are going to be used in this cool new ecosystem, and then come out with a vertiport standard, an AC, somewhere in the 24 or 25 time frame, because we don't want to prematurely put something out that is not relevant.
Yeah,
right.
Totally get it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking time. It's so great to
you. It's so great to actually be with you in person.
I know.
It was cool. It was cool on Zoom, but it's even cooler in real life.
I
agree.
So
thank you, and thanks everybody.
All right, thanks, Abby.
Bye.
All right, so here we've got the man of the hour, actually. So the person that is like basically spearheading this event, Adam Cohen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. UC Berkeley, future mobility expert, doing amazing things. So what inspired you to create this event? Because this is huge and people are loving it.
Well, thanks, Don. I mean, when we saw kind of in industry, we saw a real focus on kind of technical conferences. But where we see the real challenge with advanced air mobility is integrating policymakers, local, regional, state governments with federal resources, as well as public-private partnerships. And so the goal behind this event is really kind of fill this niche and bridge this gap. And we're planning on kind of doing this again. And I think from that perspective, the conference has been a huge success, and I don't think we've seen anything like this in the advanced air mobility space.
I don't think we have either. And are we talking like 600 people? How many people are here right now?
Sure. So right now, about 250.
250. Okay, gotcha.
And then, we have a strong following on social media. We've had, and we plan on distributing a white paper summarizing findings afterwards. And we will also be taping all the sessions. We'll be able to share recordings afterwards as well.
Well, that's amazing. And tell us a little bit about the stakeholders that are here. There's a very diverse group of people that have come to this conference.
Very diverse. So we have stakeholders from a number of academic institutions across the country, stakeholders from local, regional, state, and federal governments. On the state DOT side, we have I think 10 or 15 different state DOTs. In fact, we have two state secretaries of transportation speaking at the event. We have many private sector companies, including OEMs, air carriers, service providers, and others. And then we've got also nonprofits. So the Community Air Mobility Initiative, for example, is a really important partner as part of this program as well.
Yeah, so 2 days of content, tons of speakers, incredible level of expertise. FAA, NASA is here, just did a keynote over lunch. I don't know how you could possibly improve this, Adam, for next year, honestly.
Well, we really appreciate that, Don, and we're proud to be able to partner with you and Don with Drones to be able to kind of share this with others.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Great to
thank you.
Yeah, and looking forward to. Let me know when the videos come out, and we'll make sure everybody knows.
Perfect. We really appreciate that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. I didn't know if Nick Flom would come over here, but we are getting close to the end of the break, and I was trying to keep this kind of within the break. So anyway, let's call it good. And Sahil, good to see you. Thanks for saying hello. Appreciate you, and everybody else out there watching this and who will watch it on demand. But if you didn't get to come here this year, put it on your calendars for next year. Great event. If you're into advanced air mobility, totally worth your time. So out here, everybody, take good care.